question for you, my little tarot bumblebees. Are you a tarot reader if you read only oracle decks? Find out. Oracle cards are another fantastic way to use cartomancy, the art of reading cards, to access your intuition, give you guidance, and potentially see some futures choices ahead of you. They're also a wonderful way for you to break your bank with adding more things into your collection. You should see my bookcases stuffed to the brim. That aside, they are also a wonderful way to enhance your tarot readings, or you can read with them all on your own. Oracle decks are a deck of cards that are often heavily themed around a center idea, maybe a culture or an art aesthetic. They are another way in which we can use our intuition and speak to our guides and all that kind of stuff. Oracle decks are very open when it comes to the format that they actually are produced in, that you can read with, whereas tarot decks are structured. They follow a very thought out specific structure. I have gone through the differences between tarot and oracle before in my video, Should You Start with Tarot or Oracle? And you can check that out here. So why would you just read with oracle decks and not tarot decks? Well, one of the reasons is that you might not be able to remember 78 cards. And if you read reversals, another 78 meanings on top of that. That's a lot of meanings. The second reason, this is very dependent on the deck because I have some sassy AF oracle decks, but generally speaking, oracles can deliver a message a little more gently than the tarot that tends to bitch slap you around and wants you to say thank you for it later. The third reason that you may want to work with oracle decks only is that it is a wonderful way to get into divinatory arts. It's a really beautiful way to get into it. You can pick your favorite artist and use their beautiful representations of universal themes to jump and access your intuition. The fourth reason is that you might live in a conservative state or province or country or area or even a household where you aren't allowed to have tarot, but an oracle deck is much more acceptable, and that is completely fine. You have to keep yourself safe and use the tools that you can have access to and that you feel comfortable having in your space. If you don't want to have a tarot deck in there because you don't want to get busted or you don't want to be fighting with your family, then that's completely fine. The fifth reason is that oracle readings are much more freeform. So it's going to allow you to kind of just go with the flow, follow your intuition and see what happens. It's a lot more rebellious in a way because you're not trying to have that structure, that underlying meaning of every card. You can dive into each one and not worry about carrying a tradition with you. I have pulled out some of the oracle decks that I love to show you some of my little babies that I enjoy reading with. Now, the first one was my very first oracle deck. She popped my cherry. Now, I actually saw this deck on my very first Lenormand or Lenormand deck when I had a reading with my tarot mentor and future teacher, Gail. This is the Angels, Gods and Goddesses deck, and this is by Toni Salerno, and many of you will know this person's artwork as it is very, very popular. There are tons of decks out there now that Toni has created, and I just love it. It's by Blue Angel, which you can now get through US game systems and also through Llewellyn. It has a lovely balance of dark and light beings in it, so goddesses and gods and angels from all over, different aspects. Like there is the goddess of knowledge, there's the god of spiritual healing, the angel of self-worth. So it really does help you kind of get into that. And I've talked about this deck before, that I used to use this in one of my HR jobs. Everyone used to pull a card every day, and every time the angel of nutrition came up, it was like, this angel's telling you not to eat that muffin today, Stacy. But you know, we still ate the muffin, but it was a running joke in my team anyway. It's a beautiful deck. And I'm not someone who works with a ton of angel stuff, but this is still one of my beloved decks. The next one is the Believe in Your Own Magic Oracle. And this is a newer deck for me, but I really love the representation in this deck. It feels very fresh. I will never get over wanting to have things that are like super cute and things that I would have loved as a teenager. I think that's because that's when I found the craft and started reading and that sort of thing, but it is stunning and I really love it. So I recommend the Believe in Your Own Magic deck. And yeah, I think you're going to find that this one is a lovely representation of a number of magical people in your life. Now, we all know how much I love this next artist's work, and this is the Wild Whiskers Oracle. I mean, if I hadn't just got a bee tattoo, I just would have been like, this bee, it's so gorgeous. This is a absolutely stunning deck. I also have her Lenormand deck, and I really hope she does a tarot deck one day. Like, I really hope she does a tarot deck one day. It is absolutely beautiful and just something that every time I pull out, people are immediately drawn to. If you love more octopus, if you love oracle decks, I recommend this one, especially if you're looking for an animal themed one. My next recommendation is, of course, everyone knows this bee back. The very first full oracle deck that I completed, the Awakened Soul Oracle. She is big, she's large and in charge, and I am still to this day very, very proud of this deck. Danny has done the most amazing job with her artwork. This is the second edition. There's no more first editions out there. And again, it is a fast favorite. A lot of people really love it. I read with it all the time. I have a copy that sits by my desk. I have a copy that lives in my travel case. It goes with me everywhere. And what can I say? I'm a fan. And not to toot my own horn, I think I actually did pretty good with the guidebook as well. So I love this deck. A lovely themed deck is the Rainforest Wisdom deck. This is really vibrant, it's very sweet, and it has a lot of reminders of the things that we should be protecting in the world. And I love the green. The green foiling on this and the bright colors are really something that speaks to me. It's a gorgeous healing deck, and it's really going to connect you to those mysteries and those magics and medicines of the rainforest. And what is an oracle deck list without a self-care oracle? Now, this is the Sacred Self-Care Oracle, and most people know Goddess Provisions. This is a stunner. I really, really adore this. It's got bright pictures. I'm a sucker for bright pictures. It's got lots of pastels. I'm a sucker for pastels, and it has beautiful messages for you to take care of yourself, which is necessary when it comes to your spiritual journey. So let's talk about ways that you can work with oracle decks just on their own. A classic is to do a 1-card pull every single day. You may want to use prompts like, what does spirit want to tell me? What is my intuition asking me to pay attention to? What do I need to do today? What is my energy for today? Now, what you would do is you would shuffle your deck and you would ask a question. So for me, I'm going to use the prompt of, what do my spirit guides want me to pay attention to today? You know, just give her a shuffle. I close my eyes and I just whisper the question into my deck. And then I will cut it. Oh, interesting place that got cut. It was like right at the back, skis here. And I got Labyrinth. So for me, this speaks about going within. I probably need a little bit of decompression time, which makes a lot of sense for myself today, but this is definitely telling me that there's going to be some spiritual lessons for me today, and I might feel a little bit lost and scattered. I also got no sleep last night, so that kind of makes sense as well. But that's how you would do a 1-card draw. I would also place this on my altar and maybe reflect on that at the end of the day if I pulled it in the morning. Once you've gotten comfortable with a 1-card reading, then you can do some 2-card spreads. Here are some of my favorite prompts: what to release, what to embrace, what is coming and what is going. So basically, what is coming to you and what is leaving you. What can I accept and what can I reject? There are plenty of different resources, and you can even Google it. There's lots of oracle spreads in lots of decks, but those are just 3 of the prompts that I wanted to share with you. You would ask the same questions to the deck, and then you would pull 2 cards and have a look at how they operate themselves and then how they work together. Is there an overarching theme, or are they in opposition of each other? That's going to tell you a lot of information. And the third way is to research and use the resources that come with the deck. Most oracle authors will give you spreads to try out. Try all of them out. Give yourself a challenge to try 1 a week. Read the guidebook so that you're getting an idea of what the intention or the inspiration for the artwork was. I love reading a guidebook because it gives me a window into what the creator and the artist, or both, were trying to come across and put out into the world. So definitely give all of those spreads in the guidebook a go. Personally, my favorite way to use oracle decks is by having it as a final element to my tarot readings. So once the tarot reading has been laid out, or I have finished the main questions for my clients, I pull 1 or 2 cards at the end to give them a final wrap up or something else that they can consider at the end of their reading. Now, to answer that question, I asked you before, no, you are not a tarot reader if you just read with Oracle. You're a tarot reader if you read with the tarot cards, and you can also use Oracle decks like me to enhance your practice. And sometimes I just read with Oracle cards because I do what I want. What's your favorite Oracle deck? I want to know in the comments below, and you all better stay the Awakened Soul Oracle deck or I'm going to be really upset. I'll cry. Do you want me to cry? Yeah, you want me to cry. Cry me.